So I play Jozef Gabčík, who was a Slovak resistance fighter during the Second World War, and was commissioned by the British Army to go on a mission called Operation Anthropoid to assassinate Rinard Heydrich. With these characters, it's difficult because there's not a huge amount of available material about Jan Kubiš and Jozef Gabčík before Operation Anthropoid. But I think for me, it was a case of reading the material, trying to absorb the psychological processes that a person would go through in this kind of a situation, and then ultimately to somehow inject as much of the spirit of what Kubiš and Gabčík were trying to do into the character as possible. To put as much of the humanity of it into the character. Let that be the driving force, more than to, you know, find out what they used to eat for breakfast in the 1920s. I think it's more a sense of what's the spirit of what they were trying to do here, and how can we portray that in a character, given these words, given, you know, what these scenes are. If I was in school and I was watching this film, I'd probably take away the idea that you can really push yourself to resist evil things and bad things beyond what you thought your limits were. I think that that's an important one. And also that although I would like for people to get a sense that although we know how terrible the Nazis were and how we've developed now, you know, NATO and the UN and the EU and all these things to stop all this from happening again, and that we all kind of reckon that's a given, that actually, in fact, unless we're vigilant about it, things like that can happen. And it's something we need to be aware of.